everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the beginning of my 2019 favorites series. So typically I like to break these up into like 3 or 4 videos, and there's a good reason for that this year because every video is going to have a giveaway in it, and I have been working so much trying to get these giveaways together, and I have finally got the perfect little giveaways and I'm so excited. Anyways, so hang tight till the end of the video to hear all the details about the giveaways, which I'm super excited about. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the Complexion products, which are my favorite. That's where we're going to be starting. I will be, popping up videos of my other favorites, like for my eyeshadows and all of that. All of that is coming up soon, which I'm super excited about. Okay. And as you guys know, when it comes to primers, I am super duper stuck in my ways. Like, I am one of those that don't really like trying other primers because I'm in love with my Bobbi Brown, and when you find something that works, it just is what it is. So I'm talking about the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. There's several reasons why I love this primer. But I would say my number one reason why I love this primer is the fact that it kind of absorbs into my skin. It gives me the hydration that I need all day. It allows my foundation to really melt into my skin, but it's not tacky, it's not sticky, it doesn't gummy up. There's a lot of hydrating primers out there where they feel kind of gross on the skin. This one doesn't. It's so perfect, and it lasts me a really long time. Like, this bottle, I can make me last, I don't know, 5 to 6 months. This lasts a really long time because I only use a little bit of it, but it's so good, you guys. It's just one of those all-in-one primers, moisturizers, everything. It just does it all, and I'm obsessed with it. There's not a lot of primers that, in my opinion, hold up to this one because I love it that much. Now, as you guys know, I am more of a dry, normal skin. Right now, I'm a little bit more on the drier side, so I have been using a little bit more than I do during the summertime. Still such a beautiful product. Then we're going to be talking about the Tatcha Silk Canvas. This is one of those primers that I reach for to put in the T-zone area. If I'm having those days where my pores are a little bit more pronounced or whatever it is, this is one of those that I will go in with. And there's a lot of foundations that just look really beautiful with this primer. And the trick with this is not to use a lot of it. You don't want to use a lot of this. If you use too much of it, it doesn't look good. But when you put this on and you use a tiny little bit, you put it all over the skin, it's so silky and smooth, and it just looks beautiful under majority of my foundations. I don't use it on a daily, but it is a beautiful primer. The other one is the gripping primer. So this is from Cover FX. This was released this year, and this is one of those that I cannot wear on a daily basis, but it's almost like glue for your foundation. It makes your foundation budge proof. So this is one of those primers that I will reach for when I'm going on a special occasion, going to dinner where I really want my foundation just be locked. So this is not an everyday primer, but I love how this allows my foundation to kind of grip and stay put, does not budge. It is a fabulous primer for that. Again, not for everyday use, because if I use this too much, it will break me out. It literally is kind of like a glue. When you put it on, it's everything just kind of sticks to it and it doesn't want to budge. It's amazing. It's so good. I wish that they would release a setting spray in this type of a formula. That would be awesome. Okay. So let's move on to foundations. This is where it's going to get a little tricky because I have a lot of foundations. As you guys know, I test out a lot of foundations on my channel. Foundation is my favorite thing to test out because I feel like foundation is so subjective to the individual. For me, because I'm a dry normal, it's really, really hard to try to find those really good foundations out there that look really natural and keep me hydrated, doesn't make me look cakey and dried out. But for those of you out there who are oily, you guys have the same struggle because you're trying to find foundation that actually sticks to your skin and will control your oils. So we all have our own foundation struggle. These are the foundations, personally for me, that I absolutely love. Now, I'm not going to do the foundations in any particular order, but I am going to start with probably my most favorite foundation that I've discovered for the year. And not that it was released this year, but this is my favorite foundation that I discovered in the year of 2019. And it's the Tom Ford Traceless Stick Foundation. I'm sure you guys are not surprised, but this foundation makes my skin look its best. It's one of those foundations that doesn't look like I'm wearing anything. It melts into my skin so beautifully, and it's so natural looking that I love it. Now, this is not one that I like to wear on camera. I have worn it several times on camera, but I don't always love the way it looks on camera. It is so natural and so beautiful that I love it. If you have dry skin, this will be like a game changer. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really, really beautiful foundations out there that are perfect for dry skin, and this one is very expensive, and I get it. Gorgeous foundation though. Like, I love it. It's my favorite. I have to say it. It is one of my favorites. Okay, so now we're going to move on in no particular order. I'm just going to be grabbing. So the next one I'm going to grab here is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. Now, this foundation is very tricky. This is a foundation that I do not wear very often, and it does look beautiful in like photography, looks beautiful when you're like filming and stuff, but this is not one that I would wear on a daily just because it's full coverage, and I don't like to wear full coverage every day. Once you find a way to make this work, it's gorgeous. It's like a natural finish. For me, it's a natural. Some people say it's matte on them. For me, I've never had it be real matte. I've had it be like a natural matte. So the trick with this foundation that I have found to make it work for me, number one is using a little bit. That is number one key. If you use too much of it, it gets thick and cakey and gross and it looks nasty. And it'll literally start pulling away from your skin and like chunk off. It's so gross. But if I use one pump all over the face, and you don't need more than one pump, only because it is full coverage. Like, this is a full coverage foundation. It's a really, really thin formula. So when you put it on, it seems like it blends better, and you can put an even application with a brush, then going over it with a sponge. But the trick is to spray your sponge with some sort of like setting spray or even like a skin enhancer. So I like to use the Elsie Hydra Enhancer. I will spray a couple of spritz on my sponge that's already dampened. Don't get me wrong. I'm using a, already dampened sponge like you would use anyway if you're going to blend out your foundation with your sponge. But spraying it with a little bit of setting spray, holy smokes. It will like push the foundation and melt it into your skin. Because the thing that I was running into is that I would use a pump and it would look really beautiful, and then like in certain spots I could see it sitting there, and I am so weird about foundation sitting on top of my skin. That is one of my worst pet peeves, is foundation sitting on top. So when I used the sponge, it would melt it in, but there's something about having a little bit of that setting spray. It's perfection. Even using something like this Anastasia Dewy Set, just spraying your sponge with a little bit of this and then melting and like pushing the foundation into your skin. And if you're struggling with this foundation being a little bit too matte for you, definitely use a dewy setting spray to spray your sponge. It will make the biggest difference. It's so beautiful. So the next one is from Givenchy. This is the Tincture Everywhere. I love this foundation. I've heard a lot of people kind of give like mixed reviews about this one. This is one of those that I reach for when I want that soft matte finish. It's so beautiful and so natural looking. And it sets down, like you don't ever have to worry about it like moving around on your skin or anything. This is one that I don't have to wear powder with. If I wear this, typically I won't use like my Hourglass powder or anything. It just looks so beautiful on the skin. This is definitely a nice one. It's a full coverage satin finish, 24-hour wear, just such a beautiful foundation. This one has SPF of 20 in it. Doesn't give me any flashback, just looks really beautiful on the skin. They nailed it with this formula. I really like this one. The next one is from Tarte. So this is the Found Sealer. And this is the multitasking foundation. This one also has SPF of 20. This one kind of shocked me. I wasn't expecting to love this one, but I actually really like this one. This one is one of those just natural looking days. Like if I don't want to grab the Tom Ford and I want a really nice, healthy looking radiant foundation, this is the one I reach for. I don't recommend this for like, combo or oily skin, but for dry normal, this is beautiful. I would say If you're really dry, I wouldn't wear the Givenchy. I would say normal, combo, and oily would like this one. Definitely if you're really dry, I don't know that I would recommend the Charlotte Tilbury, just FYI. But this one and the Tom Ford would be really beautiful on drier skin. But this one just gives you that healthy glow, and it's just one of those that just makes your skin feel good. It's pretty lightweight. It doesn't weigh your skin down or anything. It's a beautiful foundation. The next one is the L'Oreal Infallible. I really like this foundation. This one has the SPF of 25. The only reason I don't wear this as much is because the SPF in this breaks me out. I don't know why. Some SPF in foundation breaks me out and some doesn't. It depends on the foundation. This one does, which really stinks. But this one gives you like a 24-hour wear. It's so beautiful. It's a very thin formula. So when you're applying it, it's like really thin and almost like a dry oil type of texture, similar to the Kat Von D. This one is the exact same way. This one is the True Portrait liquid to powder. So I would kind of say that this one from L'Oreal is almost like a liquid to powder. I like applying this best with my hands. Like the warmth of your fingers really melt both of those foundations into your skin, but they're both very, very similar in the way that they apply. And I love the coverage that they give. They both have really good coverage, but these are beautiful foundations. I mean, they both did a great job on the formula. The other one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Luminous Foundation. This one is not one that I can wear like on a regular, especially if I'm having a breakout, because it is a luminous foundation. Anytime you apply a luminous foundation over a breakout or, you know, exaggerated pores or whatever your issues are, it's going to exaggerate them. But this one is really beautiful. I don't have to put a lot on. It gives me a nice kind of light medium coverage, and it's a beautiful luminous. In fact, I prefer this one over the Laura Mercier Lumiere. That one is just too thick for me. I don't like the formula on that one. It's the one with the gold lid, the Radiant Foundation. That one is really beautiful on many people, but for me, it's too thick of a formula. I don't like the thickness of it. And that one, I can see it sitting on top of my skin, and I do not like it. This one kind of melts into the skin. It has a different type of texture where it's a liquid, but it really melts into the skin. And this one is really beautiful. Then we have the newest, one of the newer launches. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. They did such a good job on this formula. This is one of those formulas where you cannot see it sitting on the skin. It's like such a beautiful foundation. It keeps me hydrated. It looks beautiful. The only thing that I do not like about this foundation is blending it into my hairline is a pain in the butt. I don't know why. And if I have any hair on my face, because you guys know I do shave my face. I shave my face about every 2 weeks. If I'm getting closer to those, you know, to the time I need to shave my face, I can't wear this foundation. It doesn't look good over my hair. How people blend this into peach fuzz, like for those of you out there that wear this and you have peach fuzz, I'm so jealous because I don't know how you guys do it. Blending it into my hairline is such a pain in the butt. Once I get it there, it's beautiful, but it just takes me a minute. Such a beautiful foundation though. It's a nice, decent medium coverage, just really beautiful foundation. They really did a good job on it. And then finally we have the NYX Born to Glow. Oh, this one is one of my favorites. I would say this one is very similar to the Anastasia foundation. I would say this one kind of gives you the same kind of glowy look to the skin, and it just looks so healthy and radiant. I would say this one is almost an exact dupe, but better than the Dior Skin Glow. Now, I like this foundation. This one I have to be careful with because if you use too much of it, it's too thick. But the problem with it is to get a decent coverage, an amount of coverage, I have to use a little bit more than I like to. So that's kind of the drawbacks when it comes to this one. This one has the same type of texture as this one as far as like the way that it applies on the skin, but you get more coverage with this one. And so I don't have to use as much as I do with the Skin Glow. I really, really love this one from NYX. So those are the foundations. Let's move on to concealers. So I only have a few concealers because I am so picky with concealers. You guys know my holy grail is the Tarte Creases. I'm not wearing it right now because I'm almost out of this one. and I just grabbed another one. I love this concealer. This is my holy grail. This is that concealer that keeps my dry under eyes in check. And it keeps them hydrated, and it literally like erases my wrinkles. So earlier in the year, I was reviewing like concealers and stuff, and it's an amazing difference when I put on a concealer on one side and then I put the Tarte Crisis on the other. You can see my wrinkles just kind of disappear. It's because it's such an hydrating, emollient-based type of concealer. If you like more of a soft matte finish for your concealer, you won't like this. This is definitely more of a hydrating type of concealer. I wouldn't say it's like the IT Cosmetics. The IT Cosmetics one is definitely more of an emollient-based. This one is emollient-based, but still very creamy and just melts right into my under eyes. I'm obsessed with this concealer, and nothing I have in my collection even comes close to being as good as this one, but it's not for everyone. And I feel like if you have a really dry under eye, you will love this one. If you don't, I would not recommend it. If you don't have a dry under eye, I recommend this one from Giorgio Armani. Now I'm wearing this one right now. The only thing that I don't like about this one is it's expensive, number one, but number two, I can always see my dark circles peeking through throughout the entire day when I wear this. It doesn't ever cover them up completely, and I kind of wish that it did. But other than that, it's a beautiful concealer. It's a very soft finish, and you could probably build it to a full coverage, but I just don't know that this is a concealer that you're going to want to do that, because I don't think you want it to be very thick. But it is beautiful. It blends right into the under eye. So if you don't need a full coverage concealer and you want a soft matte concealer, this is a beautiful formula. The other one that I love is the Jeffree Star. Now this one is a full coverage concealer, and this one I really like, and it surprised me. I was not expecting to love it like I do, but he did a fantastic job on the formula on this one. And I love the way that this looks on my under eyes. And when I'm having those days where like maybe I haven't had a lot of sleep or whatever, when I need that really good full coverage concealer, this is the one I reach for, because it's full coverage and it melts right into the under eye. It doesn't sit on top of the skin. It's a beautiful concealer. The next one is from Marc Jacobs. Now this one is the Accomplice Stick Concealer. This one I like just take my finger like this. Just take a little bit. You only need a little bit of this. If you use too much of this, it'll get thick. But this is also a concealer that you don't really want to use with powder. I've heard several people say that when they put powder over this, it gets really gross. And I can see that. This is one of those that is for you out there that don't like to powder your under eye and you just want a little bit of soft coverage underneath your eye. I think this is a beautiful concealer, but if you put powder on this, it's going to get gumpy and gross. This one is also really nice to like spot conceal any type of acne spots or anything. It's a full coverage and it really melts into the skin. And I don't think this is for everyone, but I do think this is beautiful for those of you that do not set your under eye. And then last but surely not least, we have this one from Ilia. And this one, Ilia, I don't know. This is the True Skin Serum Concealer. This is for those of you out there that really want a clean formula, like for those of you that ingredients is really important to you. This is a nice concealer, and this is not a full coverage. I would say this is like a light medium coverage, but such a beautiful concealer, very natural and very set down. I am very picky when it comes to my concealers. But when I'm wearing like a tinted moisturizer or like a BB cream and I want a little bit of something, but I don't want it to be too much coverage, that's when I will reach for this one. This is a nice concealer for those days. Okay, let's move on to powders. So as you guys know, I'm not a big powder user. I'm just starting to get on the powder bandwagon. And there is no powder out there that has my heart like the Hourglass Veil. This is so beautiful on my skin. This is very lightweight, very dry skin friendly. If you're like me and you don't like setting your face with powder because it looks like a cakey freaking mess, this is absolutely beautiful. It does not attach to any dry patches. You only need a little bit of it. It lasts a really long time. The packaging is probably my favorite part about this powder. One of them is a beautiful powder, but the packaging drives me crazy. This one has such a unique way of dispensing the product. It is just one of the best powders. And that's the thing that I love about Hourglass. Hourglass is one of those brands that when they launch something, they put a lot of effort into it, and they just didn't launch a bunch of crap just to shove it down your throat. If you have dry skin and you're wanting to kind of get into trying something as far as a powder wise, I would definitely grab this one and just try it and see if you like it. It's my top favorite. The other one that I absolutely love is the Charlotte Tilbury. Oh, this is the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. This I cannot live without. These two, but this one especially. There is something magical about taking your brush and going down into this beautifully finely milled powder and placing it right here over those pores. Your pores like disappear. I don't know what happens to them, but it disappears. It's the prettiest powder. The way that it goes over the pores and it never gets cakey and thick. Oh my gosh. Such a beautiful powder, worth every single penny, lasts me a really long time. If you have enlarged pores, this is the powder that you want to reach for. I don't really prefer using a sponge with this one. I see people go in with a sponge and grab this and place it. I don't like that. For me, it gets too thick and cakey. I like to just take a small little brush. My favorite brush is this new one, the mini cheek brush from the Sonia G Sky Set. But any type of fluffier brush that will just kind of pick up a little bit of it and I tap off and go in, gorgeous. One of the best powders ever made, in my personal humble opinion. The other powder that really surprised me was the Jeffree Star powder. You guys, he did a great job on these. This is very finely milled and he released a lot of shades and I really like this powder. I'm not a super fan of Jeffree Star or anything like that, but I really, really like his powder and concealer. He did a great job on the formula. And you could tell that he did it in a very deliberate way. And it wasn't, you know, he wasn't just throwing out a bunch of products just to throw them out there. There was a lot of time spent on the formula on both of these, and he did a great job. This is a nice powder. It's very finely milled. It's very soft. I would say the difference between the Hourglass and the Jeffree Star is, I feel like the Hourglass is a little bit more hydrating than the Jeffree Star, but they're both really, really nice. I also really like the Magic Powder from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is her loose powder. This is the under eye and face. I do not like this under the eyes, but I do like to dust this over the face. Nothing compares to my Hourglass, but this is also a nice powder. It's a nice powder. Recently, I discovered the By Terry Hyaluronic Tinted Hydra Powder. Now, I have the translucent one. Do not like the translucent one. It's not my favorite formula. This one is in the shade 200 Natural, and it's very finely milled. The only thing I don't like about it is the packaging. I hate the packaging so much. Hate the packaging. This powder is very, very expensive, and I just don't understand the packaging. Like, please make the packaging better. Even like the Charlotte Tilbury, like they have this little, you know, she has this place where it closes and opens. This one from Jeffree Star also has an open and close section where you can close it up and open it up. This By Terry, I hate the packaging. It's a beautiful powder, but I don't use it as much because it's so freaking messy, and because it's so expensive, I'm wasting it. That's the thing that I love about the Hourglass. You don't waste this product because you tap it 3 times and you get the perfect amount of powder that you need to apply on your face. You're not applying too much. You're not wasting it. Fantastic packaging. And the product is amazing. But personally, I do love this By Terry stuff, but I love the Hourglass more. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, so that's it for the powders. Let's move on to setting sprays. Number 1 setting spray of the year for me is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. You guys, this stuff is so amazing. It gives this, look at this. It's like this fine mist. The spritzer on this is fantastic. The smell of it is beautiful, and you shake it up. It's not too hydrating, but it's hydrating. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you that in between. such a good setting spray. I love this so much. Now, I also really like the Lila B Aglow Face Mist. This is the setting spray that I reach for when I'm wearing like more of a mattifying foundation, where I really want it to look a little bit more glowy because I do have a drier skin. Then I will reach for something like this. Majority of the time I use this. Now, I do really love the LC Hydra Enhancer. This is one that I reach for when I feel really dehydrated and I feel like my skin just needs some moisture. But it doesn't affect it doesn't give me a shine. So like the Lila B Aglow, that one will give you kind of a dewy look, but this one doesn't. This one is almost like putting water on your face, but in a different way. Beautiful, beautiful product. I really like this one as well. So those are it for my complexion products, my favorites of 2019. Let's go ahead and jump into the giveaway details. I'm so excited. This is just the beginning. Like, I got so much stuff over there in that box. It's ridiculous. And I'm giving away one of the new Hourglass holiday palettes. You know, the face palettes? Yeah, I'm super excited about it. For all the details on the giveaway, head down to the description box down below. It's going to be very easy. Just excited. Like, I'm so excited for this year's giveaway, and I want to do it as easy as possible. I'm not going to be announcing it in the title or, you know, the thumbnail or anything like that, just because I just want them to be for my people, and I just love you guys, and this is just my way of giving back. I'm also going to be giving away my favorite eyeshadow palette of all time. I don't know if you guys know which one that is. So these videos will start popping up between now and the end of the year. Now, I know a lot of people have been putting up their favorites before Christmas, but we still have another week after Christmas before the new year. So definitely be on the look for more favorites videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for the love that you show me and my channel. It means so much to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day filled with love and joy. I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you all so much. Bye.